In the frozen north, the ground trembles as a grizzly bear surges forward. A massive frame cuts through the wind, each footfall landing like an order that cannot be resisted. In a split second, it bursts into speed, angles in close, and seals off every escape route. Without roaring or showing off, the grizzly bear uses sheer weight and relentless drive to close the distance. When that hunting machine starts moving, what prey has enough time left to get away? The grizzly bear is one of the largest omnivores in North America, with an adult male weighing around 1,300 pounds, built to store and release energy efficiently. Its raised shoulder hump is the center of its power, allowing it to dig, flip rocks, and command space in just a few short movements. An exceptional sense of smell helps the grizzly detect food from miles away, turning patience into a strategic advantage. More than just strong, the grizzly is also a symbol of adaptation, enduring harsh winters and helping maintain ecological balance in the places it dominates. On high mountain slopes and in elevated valleys, deer become a crucial energy source as berry season begins to fade. At up to around 250 pounds, each animal represents a valuable reserve of protein that helps grizzly bears maintain condition before the cold sets in. Instead of a prolonged chase, the grizzly relies on short burst speed of up to 35 miles per hour and turns the landscape into an ally. It applies quiet, steady pressure, guiding the deer toward rocky inclines, muddy stream banks, or loose forest floor where every stride costs more than expected. Constant pressure quickly disrupts the deer's defensive formation. A single loss of footing can bring the pursuit to an immediate end. In high-elevation ecosystems, victory does not belong to the fastest, but to the one that understands the vertical terrain and knows when to finish at the right moment. North American bison stand like living fortresses across the Yellowstone backcountry, a species with high alertness and lightning-fast reactions to intrusion. At around 2,200 pounds, with horns nearly 2 feet long, they are not only powerful, but also ready to push back to protect the herd. When the grizzly bear appears, the herd's familiar rhythm shifts immediately. It keeps close to the group, studying formation, wind direction, and terrain, waiting for a small break in the herd's collective protection. Tension rises when an adult bison detects the threat and surges forward at nearly 35 miles per hour, forcing the grizzly to step back to avoid impact. But in that moment of disruption, the herd's focus stretches thin. A younger bison, lighter and slower, slips outside the protective ring. With patience and sharp situational reading, the grizzly quickly closes the distance and takes control of the space. The energy payoff from a rare opening like this can reach around 200,000 calories, enough to repay many days of waiting. In a test, this harsh persistence becomes the grizzly's most essential tool for survival. In northern wetlands and open boreal forests, the moose appears like a prehistoric giant, the region's largest plant eater. An adult male carries antlers spanning more than 6 feet, and when pressured, it can counter instantly. For most lone predators, it is not simply prey, it is a high-risk opponent that can push back. That is why the grizzly does not choose a straight charge into a wall of antlers. It chooses to break the balance through terrain. Muddy slopes and water deeper than 2 feet can turn the moose's long-legged advantage into a weakness. Each heavy step into soft ground becomes a lost beat, a slower turn, a harder recovery. One wrong step is enough for the balance to shift. The grizzly applies pressure at the right moment, in the right place. Never rushed, only certain. If it works, the reward can reach around 400,000 calories, a critical reserve for the long winter ahead. But nature doesn't follow a fixed script. With a calf nearby, a female moose can become a living shield, so determined that every forward step from the grizzly becomes a gamble. This confrontation is not only a test of strength, it is a survival hand, where mud, timing, and resolve decide who earns the right to move forward into a harsh winter. When the breeding season spreads across the northern forests, the atmosphere tightens in a different way. Male grizzly bears begin redrawing the map of dominance through scent and deep claw marks carved into tree trunks, often higher than 7 feet. Across territories spanning hundreds of square miles, each mark delivers a clear message. This ground is already claimed. Before any direct contact occurs, confrontation usually begins as psychological pressure. 2 individuals weighing close to 1,000 pounds move in parallel, shoulders lifted, bodies displayed to exaggerate true size. Low-frequency sounds travel nearly half a mile, testing the resolve of a rival from a distance. Only when neither side yields does tension rise further. Heavy shoulder checks and brief attempts to control position unfold quickly, forcing one bear to retreat rather than prolong the encounter. In most cases, the weaker individual withdraws, as even minor injury can turn the coming winter into a serious risk. At the edge of the dispute, female grizzlies observe in silence. Their choice is shaped not only by momentary strength, but by the ability to hold territory and safeguard cubs during their fragile early months. For grizzly bears, rivalry within their own kind is not simply about mating. It is a test of balance between power, experience, and long-term survival instinct. Gray wolves operate like a collective machine across the valleys of Yellowstone. They accelerate up to 40 miles per hour, cut angles, close loops, and guide prey into precise control points that allow them to command a vast hunting range. Then the grizzly bear appears, not by charging, but simply by stepping in. Slow, heavy, and deliberate, its presence alone is enough to disrupt the wolves' familiar rhythm. In temperatures near 0 degrees Fahrenheit, every close approach must be recalculated because a single misstep carries real risk. The size difference immediately forms an invisible barrier. Each wolf weighs around 130 pounds, while a grizzly can stand nearly 9 feet tall, an imposing visual and psychological pressure that keeps the pack from closing distance. The wolves continue to circle, testing angles and trying to stretch the formation, but the gap refuses to shrink. Coordination signals drift, and the surrounding pattern begins to fracture. After multiple probing passes, the pack is forced to withdraw. Not from weakness, but because this encounter offers no safe opening to advance. The meeting ends with a rule as cold as stone. Numbers do not always decide control. In northern river systems, salmon season becomes the biological clock of the old forests. Millions leave the ocean and travel hundreds of miles upstream to return to their birthplace, carrying an energy source the grizzly bear cannot ignore. In the cold water, the grizzly does not rush. It selects natural bottlenecks in the current, low falls, rocky rapids, narrow bends, where salmon are forced to break the surface in short jumps, revealing clear paths. Here, the terrain performs much of the difficult work. The grizzly's focus is nearly absolute. Every movement is calculated to limit energy use. When a silver flash appears, the front legs extend with precision, securing control in an instant. A single successful catch can provide around 4,500 calories, enough for the body to add close to 3 pounds of fat per day during peak season. Not every reach ends cleanly. Rather than pursue, the grizzly steps back, adjusts position, and remains still beside the rushing water. Within this ecological cycle, strength lies in conserving energy and using it at the right moment. Each fish becomes a quiet step that carries the grizzly from a brief summer towards the long winter sleep ahead. Savannah flips the switch on power, and the lion puts its entire youth on the line to learn how to survive. One lunge locks onto the target. One decisive move shuts down the chase. The roar is not for show. It is a verdict for anything that crosses the boundary. One mistimed step, and the game ignites into a fight for the right to remain. And today, who holds on to the end, and who is erased from the contest? The lion is the only big cat that lives in groups, with a social structure rarely seen among top hunters. A fully grown male can weigh over 400 pounds, and his thick mane reflects health and status within the pride. Females hold the core hunting role, coordinating with precision to use speed, terrain, and timing. At the top of the food chain, the lion is both a dominant force and a balancing one, driven through an unending series of trials to hold the title of the King of the Savannah. Across the savannah and the edge of open woodland, the leopard appears like a silent ghost. Far lighter than a lion, yet its compact, athletic build lets it climb high and hide on branches more than 20 feet above the ground. Between these two species lies a long-standing rivalry. Lions control the ground through numbers and collective pressure, while the leopard survives through solitude, patience, and precise calculation. Overlapping territory makes contact hard to avoid, but most of the time, the leopard chooses to stay out of the way. When lions close in with a numerical advantage, retreat becomes the safest option. In the wild, stepping back is not failure. It is a way to remain present over the long term in a harsh competitive world. At another moment, that fragile order is broken. A lioness briefly takes her eyes off the most restless young one in the pride. Curiosity draws the cub beyond its familiar safety zone, deeper into dense brush, where visibility is limited and every movement is harder to track. Above, the leopard is already there, watching in silence. Everything happens so fast it leaves almost no clear trace. When the lioness calls out, the scene has changed. Only the faintest motion in the canopy remains, and then the quiet seals shut. There is no emotion in it, only nature's survival logic. For the leopard, reducing risk is how it protects its position in an unforgiving contest. It is a lesson in vigilance that must extend not only around, but also into the silent space overhead. Biological data shows that only about 20% of lion cubs survive long enough to reach adolescence, roughly 2 years of age. That means within each litter, only one individual is likely to gain real opportunities to learn how to hunt. This harsh survival rate forces those that remain to adapt early, changing how they observe, react, and learn to control the space around them. At this stage, survival lessons enter a more demanding phase. The muscles of adolescent lions develop rapidly, but the calm judgment and situational control of a mature hunter still lag behind. The first test comes from a young warthog moving about 50 feet away. Impatience causes a young male to reveal his position too early. With remarkable speed, the target slips into dense cover, leaving behind the familiar frustration of youth. Soon after, attention shifts to an impala. This time, the distance is too great, and the approach cannot turn into effective action. Repeated setbacks slowly accumulate into experience, pushing the group to adjust tactics and learn restraint. When the focus turns to a bless book, the difference begins to show. The pride spreads out to surround the target. At the decisive moment, a young female bursts forward at speeds approaching 50 miles per hour. This time, coordination is precise enough to bring the situation under control quickly. To truly claim territory, adolescent lions must merge into the structure of the pride, where individual strength gives way to collective strategy and exact timing. Along African rivers, crocodiles exist like ancient traps, motionless, patient, yet always alert. A full-grown individual can weigh over 1,000 pounds, with a bite force of around 3,700 pounds per square inch, enough to turn the water's edge into a narrow line between safety and danger. The dry season pushes temperatures close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, making water both a lifeline and a threat. Scarce waterholes force every species to approach, including lion cubs weighing under 10 pounds, with almost no ability to defend themselves. Moving with the pride toward the riverbank, they seek survival, unaware that beneath the surface lies nature's coldest test. One mistimed moment, the murky water churns, and the formation stretches apart. Adult lions rush in to respond, but they are not always able to protect what matters most. In another instant, a cub slips past several close encounters through raw, unrefined reflexes. But in the next moment, the margin of safety disappears. From the riverbank, the adults can only watch, powerless to intervene. The lesson needs no words. Only vigilance and unity allow the pride to move forward. After that loss, the lions draw closer together, learning to grow up in a wild world that offers no mercy. The greatest threat to a lion does not come from outside claws, but from a shift of power within the pride itself. When a new coalition of male lions takes control, the old order disappears immediately. This change is not simply a replacement of individuals, but a complete reshaping of the pride's future, from reproductive timing to the survival prospects of the next generation. By biological rules, new rulers often seek to erase the legacy of the previous generation. An adult male lion holds strength far beyond what lionesses can resist. The focus of this process falls on cubs under 1 year old, driven not by emotion, but by reproductive strategy. When cubs are lost, lionesses stop producing milk and can return to breeding readiness within a few weeks, rather than waiting nearly 2 years to complete a full nursing cycle. Facing this risk, lionesses weighing around 280 pounds still attempt to shield their young and move them away from danger zones. But in the world of big cats, differences in size and power often determine outcomes. Cubs weighing only about 30 pounds have almost no ability to protect themselves under overwhelming pressure. In harsher periods, when food resources decline across dozens of miles, lionesses are forced to prioritize energy for survival, even when the choice is deeply difficult. This decision allows them to endure the dry season and preserve future reproductive potential. It is nature's balancing mechanism, where the continuation of the species always comes first. After these upheavals, the cubs that remain begin their true journey, learning to hunt and to claim their place on the savannah. Every dominant force exists under constant pressure, where authority is continuously tested, and lions are no exception. Among their most persistent rivals, hyenas and wild dogs stand out as clear symbols of opposition. They rarely engage in direct confrontation, instead relying on overwhelming numbers and relentless endurance. Around a carcass or a critical food source, they repeatedly probe the limits of the dominant force through prolonged encirclement and echoing calls, slowly wearing down vigilance over time. In response, male lions rely on strength and commanding presence. A fully grown individual weighing around 420 pounds can hold ground against an entire group of hyenas without pursuit, simply by asserting boundaries. This calm, yet imposing confidence defines the presence of a seasoned ruler, often enough to make others hesitate and fall back. Yet the most serious threat does not come only from other species. The fiercest competition unfolds between rival coalitions of male lions themselves, where control over territories spanning dozens of square miles is at stake. A roar carrying up to 5 miles serves both as a warning and as a declaration of ownership to any potential challenger. Most confrontations end when one side chooses to withdraw. Only in rare cases does the balance shift completely. On the savannah, being king is not a single victory. but the ability to remain standing through an endless series of trials. The eagle arrives like a blade of wind, closing in with flawless precision. Altitude becomes a tool, turning open space into an advantage at the decisive moment. The prey may flee or resist, but once selected, escape is no longer an option. The encounter unfolds in seconds, where the only margin for error belongs to the one below. This is not a story of brutality, but a law of survival written from above. Unlike many other forms of prey, snakes do not rely on speed or numbers to survive. Their advantage lies in concealment, extremely fast reflexes, and a short strike range paired with venom. Many large species can exceed 6 feet in length, their bodies pressed close to the ground, nearly disappearing among dry grass and loose stone, where a single subtle movement can shift the outcome. For an eagle, this presents a high-risk calculation. It does not descend blindly. Every approach is planned to come from behind, the zone where a snake's reaction is momentarily slower at the critical instant. As the snake turns to respond, the eagle's beak and talons move into position at once, establishing control while maintaining safe distance and limiting movement. Each motion is fast, controlled, and precise, with no room for error. Against venomous species such as cobras, the eagle holds a quiet advantage. Dense, stiff feathers along the legs act as a natural layer of protection, reducing risk from fangs. When the prey is too large to manage on the ground, the encounter shifts upward, where gravity becomes the deciding factor. To face venomous snakes, an eagle relies not only on strength, but on strategy and near-perfect calculation. For an eagle, open water is where vision and strength work in near-perfect coordination. The downward strike is calculated at a steep angle. Curved talons, nearly 2 inches long, open at precisely the right moment to secure slippery prey. Unlike deep-diving birds, an eagle rarely submerges fully. It touches the surface only briefly, then immediately spreads its broad wings to lift a fish weighing up to 5 pounds into the air, without the need to dive beneath the water. That same precision continues into its breeding life. Inside massive nests, parent eagles raise their young under nature's uncompromising rules. In reality, only about 30 to 40% of eaglets survive to adulthood due to harsh weather, limited food, and constant competition. For that reason, every act of care serves a single purpose: to ensure that at least one offspring is strong enough to leave the nest, so the sky is never left empty. On sheer mountain slopes, mountain goats represent absolute stability. An adult can weigh close to 260 pounds, yet move calmly across rock ledges only a few inches wide. Split hooves grip tightly to the stone surface, allowing balance at elevations of thousands of feet, where every movement demands complete precision. Because of this control, adult goats rarely become targets. But along the edges of the herd, younger individuals, lighter, slower, and less experienced, expose brief moments of vulnerability that nature is always ready to test. In the Italian Alps, a golden eagle once chose a bold moment to approach a chamois mother and her young on a steep cliff face. As the mother moved downhill to shield her offspring, the eagle's talons caught in the thick, coarse fur. In an instant, the advantage vanished, pulling both into a dangerous slide along the rocky slope. The eagle paid the price for a mistimed decision, while the chamois mother and young escaped by the narrowest margin. At high altitude, advantage is never permanent. There, survival does not belong to the strongest, but to the one who is most precise in every decision. Wolves are a symbol of endurance on the ground. With bodies weighing around 100 pounds, they move in packs, relying on coordination and long distances to build their advantage. To an eagle, a wolf is not a typical target. The two species rarely confront each other directly. Their relationship exists in parallel, one ruling the sky, the other commanding the plains. In rare cases, however, when a lone wolf becomes separated from its group and crosses open terrain, it may enter the field of view from above. The eagle does not descend in reckless pursuit. It lowers altitude gradually, testing reactions and measuring distance. With a precise grip aimed at a vital area, the encounter ends before the wolf can turn its strength into resistance. With bears, the situation is more clearly defined. During the breeding season, when nests rest on cliff faces or high trees, bald eagles act as determined guardians. A bear weighing several hundred pounds that moves too close to these sensitive areas is immediately monitored. Short, repeated swoops aimed near the head are used, not to overpower, but to redirect movement and encourage retreat. This reflects ecological balance. Each species holds its ground, and the system functions through respected boundaries. Across cold lakes and coastal wetlands, resident geese appear seasoned and alert, like disciplined guardians of open water. Their large bodies, dense feathers, and strong swimming ability give them confidence in exposed environments. But to the white-tailed eagle, water is not a disadvantage. It is simply another arena. When hunting, the eagle approaches from above, its wings spreading wider than 7 feet to press the goose down onto the water's surface. Rather than engaging in a prolonged struggle, it uses its own weight to gradually shift the balance in cold water, where reactions slow and resistance weakens. With gray geese weighing up to 8 pounds, too heavy to lift immediately, the eagle does not attempt to take flight. Instead, it lowers its center of mass, uses its wings like paddles, and guides the target toward shore. This is not sudden force, but an energy-efficient tactic that reflects flexible adaptation. On the water, the eagle is no longer only a ruler of the sky. There, it becomes a strategist, knowing when to apply strength and when patience is the deciding factor, to maintain its role within the balance of the ecosystem. Beneath the dry, scorching ground, the lizard lives in a state of near-constant alertness. Its small, lightweight body and sand-toned skin allow it to blend seamlessly into the soil and rocky crevices. Eyes positioned on both sides of the head give it a wide field of vision at ground level, but they also leave a fatal blind spot from above. From an aerial vantage point, the eagle circles quietly, maintaining distance and waiting with patience. It watches for the moment when the prey's natural blind zone is exposed, when the lizard turns its body or pauses to rest, and its attention no longer points toward the sky. The instant the opening appears, the dive unfolds like a straight line drawn by the wind. The wings fold tight, and gravity becomes an ally. As the eagle reaches its target, curved talons generate a gripping force of roughly 90 pounds, locking the prey in place within a fraction of a second. If any resistance follows, the powerful beak intervenes immediately, stabilizing the head and securing control. This encounter is not a display of aggression, but a clear demonstration of an ecological rule. Height determines vision, and vision determines opportunity. In dense forests, monkeys are masters of three-dimensional space. Lightweight bodies, ranging from just a few to over 10 pounds, allow them to grip trunks and narrow branches with ease, moving in groups high above the ground while rarely leaving openings. Most of the time, the thick canopy serves as near-perfect protection. But when a single individual becomes focused on feeding and awareness slips, a gap appears. From above, the approach unfolds in silence. With the ability to navigate through layered foliage, the eagle is agile enough to control the situation and withdraw before the group can react. Along the edges of thinner forests, wild boar present a very different challenge. An adult can sprint at nearly 30 miles per hour and carries sharp tusks, making direct confrontation a high-risk choice. Opportunity arises only when a piglet strays from the group and crosses open ground for a brief moment. The eagle reads the wind, closes the distance, locks onto the target, and withdraws at precisely the right time, matching the movement rhythm of the entire group. And as the shadow of wings fades behind the trees, that pursuit has not yet truly ended. There is no prelude, only a moment of close approach and a cold, decisive strike. Wildcats do not rely on size, but on speed and instinct. Each species delivers its move in its own way, so fast that the target has no time to react. Mistakes exist only for an instant, that narrow line between survival and disappearance. And when the claws close in, nature's quiet unease begins. The black-footed cat, scientifically known as Felis nigrips, stands as proof that strength in nature is not defined by size. Weighing under 5 pounds and measuring about 20 inches in length, it is the smallest wildcat species in southern Africa. Yet behind its modest frame and sandy brown coat lies a hunting system that operates with rare efficiency. Its diet ranges from small rodents and ground-dwelling birds to large insects and reptiles. This variety is not an advantage, but a necessity for survival in an arid environment, where each successful night determines the chance of enduring the following day. As night falls, the body lowers close to the ground, moving so near the surface that it nearly dissolves into the landscape. It alternates between silent observation and active searching, constantly interpreting the faintest signals from its surroundings. Each close approach is brief and precise, concluding before the target becomes aware of any threat. With an exceptionally high metabolic rate, a single individual may consume food equal to nearly 1/6 of its body weight in one night. With a hunting success rate of around 60%, the black-footed cat surpasses many other wild cats, including larger relatives such as lions and leopards. Under cover of darkness, it may travel up to 20 miles to expand its opportunities, then quietly return to an underground den or rocky crevice as daylight emerges, fulfilling a small yet essential role in the fragile balance of its ecosystem. Across semi-desert regions and dry grasslands stretching from Africa through the Middle East to Central Asia, the Caracal appears as a biological solution to the challenge of speed and precision. With an average weight of around 40 pounds, its compact, muscular frame is optimized for short bursts of movement in open terrain, where every opportunity exists only for a brief instant. Its short coat, colored reddish-brown or sandy gold, allows the caracal to blend seamlessly into arid landscapes. The most distinctive feature is its tall ears, crowned with black tufts nearly 2 inches long, not for display, but to enhance sound detection. Each ear rotates independently, enabling the caracal to pinpoint the direction and distance of even the smallest movement within moments. The caracal's diet includes hares, ground-dwelling birds, guinea fowl, and occasionally young antelope. Unlike many other cats, it is especially skilled at catching birds. When the timing is right, the body springs upward, reaching heights close to 10 feet, enough to intercept wings just lifting from the ground. Most active at dusk and early morning, the caracal takes advantage of cooler hours to reduce energy loss. During brief approaches, it can accelerate to nearly 50 miles per hour to close the distance. However, with a hunting success rate of around 50%, every missed leap carries a clear cost. Despite the need to remain alert to jackals and opportunistic scavengers, the caracal endures through lightning-fast reflexes and near-perfect accuracy. A reminder that in nature, skill can stand in place of size. Across the northern forests and the wilderness of Alaska, the Canada lynx appears as a gray silhouette dissolving into the white snow. Weighing around 24 pounds, with pointed ears and a dense coat, it is shaped by winters that can drop to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, where adaptation determines who is allowed to endure. Its greatest advantage lies in its wide paws, nearly 4 inches across, functioning like natural snowshoes. This design allows the lynx to move lightly over soft snow without sinking, a critical edge when tracking snowshoe hares, the primary food source that sustains the species. Within dense conifer forests, speed is not required. Instead, absolute patience defines the approach. The lynx can remain motionless for hours in silence, waiting for the precise moment to launch a leap exceeding 10 feet, ending the hunt before the target becomes aware of danger. The breeding cycle begins in late winter, and 1 to 4 kittens are born as summer arrives, when food resources become more abundant. Nature, however, is never static. When prey numbers decline in natural cycles, the lynx is forced to expand its range, sometimes reaching up to 150 square miles. As a key predator, it helps preserve the fragile balance of the taiga ecosystem, particularly by regulating populations of hares and small rodents. The puma is also known as the cougar, or mountain lion. It is a solitary predator that controls vast territories, stretching from the frozen forests of Canada to the rugged mountain ranges of the western United States. An adult male can weigh up to 220 pounds and measure nearly 8 feet in length. Its strength does not come from sheer size, but from exceptionally powerful hind legs, enabling leaps of up to 40 feet and short bursts of speed, approaching 50 miles per hour during pursuit. Steep slopes, dense forests, and rocky cliffs are not obstacles, but advantages for carefully calculated ambushes. The puma's primary prey consists of widely distributed grazing animals such as white-tailed deer, mule deer, and guanaco. In the Rocky Mountains, as night falls, its keen vision allows it to observe far more effectively than humans. From elevated positions, the puma waits patiently, moves with the wind, and approaches in silence, skills passed on from an early stage of life. A successful strike can bring down a target weighing twice its own body weight, providing enough energy to last nearly 10 days. Even an apex predator, however, remains bound by environmental limits. When prey density in mountainous regions drops below 10 animals per square mile, the puma's reproductive rhythm slows immediately, like a biological clock shifting into conservation mode. Under pressure from shrinking migration corridors, competition with its own kind, and powerful rivals such as grizzly bears and wolves, it faces a stark reality. Hunting success rates rise only slightly above 20%. Yet within these harsh limits, the puma continues to hold a crucial role, a quiet architect regulating the balance of ecosystems across the Americas. Beneath ancient forest canopies stretching from southern Texas through Central America to much of South America, the ocelot, scientifically known as Leopardus pardalis, exists as part of both light and shadow. Weighing only about 25 pounds and standing roughly 18 inches at the shoulder, this cat does not depend on size for advantage. Its intricate spotted coat breaks up the outline of the body, allowing the ocelot to nearly dissolve into the shifting patches of light and shade beneath the forest cover. Active mainly at night and during twilight, the ocelot possesses keen vision capable of detecting movement in very low light. With a medium-sized frame, each individual needs to consume around 2 pounds of food per day to maintain energy. Its diet ranges from rodents and lizards to forest birds and small mammals such as young coatis. Rather than relying on prolonged pursuit, the ocelot chooses silent approach, using leaf litter, exposed roots, and the layered structure of the rainforest to conceal every step. Each individual maintains a distinct territory, often spanning from several to more than 10 square miles, marked and patrolled regularly. Within the confined space of dense forest, flexibility becomes a vital advantage. The ocelot can climb high, slip low, or remain motionless for minutes at a time to avoid larger predators such as jaguars or large constricting snakes. Not a ruler by strength, the ocelot endures through its ability to read the environment and make precise decisions. Within the rainforest ecosystem, it serves as a subtle link, quietly regulating smaller prey populations and helping maintain balance beneath the canopy. A grizzly bear dominates its space with weight, speed, and total control. Each advance is a clear statement of its place at the top of the food chain. In this world, true power does not need noise to overwhelm. To keep following the grizzly bear's commanding strength, viewers can press like to support the channel. And remember to subscribe so viewers do not miss the next moments from the top of the food chain.